welcome back. John is out today. Santa's in for him. We are at the Max Pub studio here in Staten Island, New York, and it's quite nice to be here in Staten Island. It's really one of the hotbeds of freedom and liberty in this country right now, and I'm filling in for John. He's been a very naughty boy, so I'm trying to help the cause here. And every week, as I know, because I watch from the North Pole, Michael Johns joins John on Friday because today, Christmas Eve, we'll be off tomorrow. We are joined by Michael Johns today, former speechwriter for George H.W. Bush, co-founder of the Tea Party movement. Mike, I watched Mike Pence the other day, quite joyously, might I add, at the poll, and I was quite taken by the tone and tenor of his speech and the fact that he was not talking about a future where we need to fight against the Biden administration. He was talking about winning this election still, which I thought sent a very strong signal. What do you think about the Pence card?
Absolutely. First, Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah to all of your viewers.
Yes.
And to JT, wherever he is today. Yeah, let me say, I think, if you're simply following the election based on what you're reading in mainstream media, you're getting an incredibly flawed state of denial of the realities in at least 6 key swing states that continue to keep this election very much alive. And let me just also say that one of the metrics you would look at in a debate of this nature is pressure building, or is it beginning to diminish on state legislatures to address these issues? And it's clearly building. You're seeing it in Georgia, you're seeing it in Arizona. We need more pressure in Michigan and Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, home to great patriots of Gettysburg and the Valley Forge and the Independence Hall itself, cannot be the state on which representative democracy is allowed to be compromised. And yet the Peter Navarro report, which came out, which I don't know if we had a chance to talk about, I thought really did an excellent job of summarizing basically 6 different types of either election fraud or voter fraud across these 6 different states. They're all the difference in the world. All it takes is for a state legislature to assess those, or for Congress to assess it on January 6th.
So many people, Michael, are saying that Mike Pence is going to deliver a big Christmas gift to America today by giving us a little more clarity on what his thoughts are on accepting objection challenges or not. What are your views on that? Do you think that we will pull that card here?
I think any politician of any stripe who wants to have a future, which I think is going to be defined by Trump sentiments and by the Trump MAGA deplorable movements, has got to be listening very acutely right now to what the sentiments are. Half this country believes this election was fraudulent. 100% of that half of the country is right. It was fraudulent. The facts clearly demonstrate that. And I think we have, some who are, simply partisans and don't care about that reality. That's very unfortunate. Or some who haven't looked into it, which is very unfortunate. But Pence, in my judgment, who, I think aspires to have a political future, leveraging his time here, has to stand up and make it clear that he believes the Senate needs to address this issue. We already have Mo Brooks in the House, the one House member we need, prepared to address it on January 6th. And remember, if this does break down on partisan basis, the House decides the presidency, the Senate determines the vice presidency, in the House, it would be done by state delegations where the Republicans would have the lead and, at least on a partisan basis, would prevail. But the point is that the fraud is indisputable. It's there, it's documented. You can read the Texas AG's filing with the Supreme Court. That wasn't heard because of a standing issue, a technicality really, but the substance of which is very much factually based. And this Peter Navarro report, he did a really excellent job, I thought, in summarizing it across both functionality of the types of fraud and process violations that existed, and then from the standpoint of the states that were impacted.
Michael, we're talking about Mike Pence here, but for those of you, and we're even confused a little at the North Pole, people say Mike Pence is going to deliver this great gift. What is it exactly that Mike Pence has to enact or enable to allow for people to object to these electors?
Well, you only need one senator to begin the process in the Senate. As president of the Senate, I suppose he would have the ability to serve that role, but I already think you see Rand Paul moving in that direction. I think you're going to see some other senators. I'm very optimistic that you're going to see, and the House is already locked down with Mo Brooks. So I think you have, a basis for these hearings in each respective body, and they would hear the evidence. But even before then, there's the opportunity, which I think is really the most urgent call to action for anyone who, is concerned about these violations, which should be every American, for state legislatures to call special sessions, plenty of time between now and the 6th of January to get back in, call witnesses. These witnesses, by the way, I'm sick of hearing from the mainstream media that there's no evidence. Affidavits, definitionally, are evidence. That's why they were created. They're admitted by the courts as evidence. And there's now about 1,000 of them. And remarkable similarities, no contradictions, credible allegations, sometimes backed by video and photographic evidence. And there's no reason that the state legislatures should be authorizing electors without hearing evidence of these evidentiary violations of process and of outright fraud.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Let's go to Arizona. I'll be there a little later tonight. But what's happening in Arizona now? They're trying to decertify the election or overturn the election. Many of these things get confusing, Mike, because there seems there are a lot of different fragmented situations.
Admittedly, it becomes very complicated, I think, for those who are trying to keep up. But the point is you have numerous process violations of votes that were counted that should not have been counted, individuals who weren't properly registered. The big issue right now relates to this Dominion systems and the fact that the Senate of Arizona authored a subpoena for the systems to be forensically examined, just like was done in Michigan, where they found over a 60% error rate in these calculations, which is astronomical. It should be the basis for every one of these machines to be seized across the country immediately. And a report that was incredibly damning, suggesting that error rate was no accident, that it was actually designed to introduce the human component under which fraud occurred. And by the way, there are affidavits like from multiple states of individuals who said they witnessed what they called glitches, but which were technical manipulations of votes. Now, Dominion says that's not the case. And I wish they would be more, frankly, they seem to have very strong viewpoints on this, but they're not making themselves available routinely to media or to state legislatures. They dodged an appearance in Harrisburg where they were supposed to testify. And a lot of the facts that they are pushing back are indisputably true. There's documented history of their use with their coordination with Smartmatic and their software licensing, which was acknowledged by Smartmatic's CEO in the TV interview.
We at the North Pole have seen no evidence of voter fraud in the Smartmatic or Dominion software systems, but we're willing to see it if we can have it. Mike, before you go, John was thrown into a tempest in the teapot earlier in the week by reading this disclaimer on behalf of Newsmax.
Yes, I was very surprised. It seemed very un-JT-like.
I think he was quite surprised himself, from what I understand. But many people don't understand when you're part of a big corporate organization and you're faced with something that you may not align with ideologically. You have to make basically an existential decision. Do I want to end a career, or do I want to let the people judge me on my own personal views on my own show, if I had one? What do you think the damage was, and what do you think the fallout is, Mike?
There's a lot of curiosity out here about who actually wrote that statement, and I assured many people that it did not seem like something that I would envision JT writing.
I know firsthand that he did not write that.
Okay, but you're not prepared to disclose that part of it, I assume.
No,
Okay.
but I can say that every host on the network read the same speech.
Yeah.
For some reason, JT was the one that went viral, so it's quite strange.
Well, the impact of it, I mean, obviously, we're trying to encourage transparency here as it relates to the allegations that exist in these affidavits and as it exists to some very troubling realities with Dominion. I think I've mentioned you before. I don't think ever again we should use any foreign election system.
Of course not.
For the counting of votes. It's too important. Particularly with both parties concerned about foreign manipulation. It's shocking to me to see that they're in 28 states, I believe.
Bizarre.
Additionally, one of the retractions I think you made related to the fact that Smartmatic and Dominion had no relationship. But that's documented with an interview that Smartmatic CEO, who does happen to be one of George Soros's closest, some would say his single most close.
Lord Malik Brown has been a naughty boy many times, and we have paid him some unfortunate visits over the years. But I agree with you. If you go to John Tobacco's personal Facebook page, there's quite a bit of what you may view as empirical evidence that Lord Malik Brown, George Soros' right-hand man, was one of the founding investors in Sequoia, which became Dominion, Smartmatic, and a number of other places.
So, I think this is unfortunate. Like, firstly, I respect Newsmax greatly. It's made incredible contributions to public knowledge, and it's provided incredibly fair coverage. And it's unfortunate, frankly, I put the blame on Dominion right now, and I've said that publicly. They should be concerned about the allegations, not to the point of threatening lawsuits, but to the point of cooperating with the legal counsel and with Sidney Powell on these issues. Not responding defensively, not seeking to protect, not to eliminate, as happened in Michigan, some of the data that was important for the purposes of understanding whether these votes were sent out of the country or not for the purposes of calculation. And this was one of the concerns I raised with you when the allegations went public before any of the legal filings was whether or not that was a mistake, because some of this evidence would potentially disappear. But I think they're responding in a way that no public official at this point should find this a defensible approach. They should be offering to testify under oath. They should be facilitating forensic evaluations of their systems, answering the hard questions. If there's been, as I'm sure there has been, misstatement on any of these issues, and you're dealing with two companies with complicated histories that have intertwined at times and haven't at other times, they can clarify that. They don't need to be holding a legal gun to the heads of mid-sized media organizations to extract statements like that. And I think, frankly, the result of it is, at a time when we're trying to get state legislatures to stand up and evaluate these systems and make sure that the votes are counted accurately when there's allegations that they weren't, it kind of relieves some of the pressure. So that's obviously got to be resolved. And, and like I said, I see this is a very troubling system to me. I think the allegations combined with this forensic audit in Michigan, which you didn't address in your statement, but it's having what is there? I noticed they issue no response on that, the 60% some error rate.
That's crazy.
Nothing that I've seen from them that's questioned that fact, or how you could have an astonishing error, literally more votes counted incorrectly than correctly.
Well, I did have Patrick Byrne on the show. He's part of Sidney Powell's technology team. And he mentioned to me that there were so many ballots that went to the adjudication file in some precincts in Michigan that when they changed the adjudication file to 95% of them Biden, it dumped more ballots in a period of time than could possibly be processed by the amount of machines they have there. So I think someone out there has some very serious
when they sold this is the point. When they sold this system, JT, they never said there was going to be any adjudication process involved.
Exactly.
That should be like the aberration.
Of course.
It should be very rare.
Not
You shouldn't be
70% of the
having,
ballots.
the reason you have an electronic system like this is to avoid the need for human intervention, which could be prone to fraud. They have a system, according to the experts who did this forensics examination, which consciously issues these high error rates precisely with the goal of creating this human intervention. Now, I can't validate that or say that's right or wrong. I don't know the person who did the examination. And I would suspect they probably were paid for by Trump legal team. But these guys also have a reputation, and they know their results are going to get scrutinized. So I would suspect that.
Well, I would just, I would like to, on this beautiful holiday season, Christmas, Hanukkah, anything you celebrate, Kwanzaa, may all your families be great. And I would just like to add this, Mike. I have a universal hold harmless and a tremendous backup policy with Lloyd's of London that we forged, back in the 1400s. And I believe at the North Pole that there has been a significant amount of electronic voter fraud. I know who has been naughty, and I know who's been nice, and I think America will get quite the Christmas gift, maybe a few days belatedly, but one of the things I know you stand for is rousing up people to speak up when the time is right, and I believe now's the time. No doubt about it.
And Mike, it's not an issue of allegations, just free and fair elections. We have credible allegations. Let's get to the bottom of them. If some of them are false, well, the only way to uncover that is to have the scrutiny that's necessary. That's how we'll get to the truth, and that's all we're after.
Michael, thank you so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful, blessed holiday season, you and the family, and I'm sure John looks forward to seeing you again next week, as always. Thank you, my friend.
Very good. Have a good one.
Ho, ho. All right, we'll take a momentary pause here on the Facebook network. We're having some technical difficulties out there on Biz TV due to the moved location, lighter staffing at our Media Gateway folks, and Monday we'll have, for those of you watching around the country on Antenna and other forms, we will be back to you shortly. My naughty hat is not doing well. Okay.